Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio and it's time to bring on the funny. You're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the podcast that shoves 30 minutes of comedy in under 15 minutes. Of course, it highlights the one and only Ujokes show hosted by Jonathan Mangum, where comedians and you guys and gals as part of the audience on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all have a chance to dominate. It's literally comedy gold at your fingertips. Now, although there was no new Ujokes show this week, lucky for you and me, this gives us time to catch up on last week's show. But before I tell you about that, I want to tell you now that if you missed my podcast on the other two most recent Ujokes shows, not last week's, but the two beforehand, one with Dwayne Colbert versus Rob Morocco, and the one after that, Lizzie Logan versus Todd Robert Anderson, catch up via the podcast link in the description. Also, to continuing listeners, brand new ones too, thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time listening and you happen to be listening from Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, please leave those ratings and reviews if it's not too much trouble. But anyway, about last week's Ujokes show, normally episodes are on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 Eastern, and that will be the case for the next Ujokes show, hopefully anyway, which if all goes to plan, will be coming up on Monday, November 29th. But anyway, last week's show was at a special day and time, last Tuesday to be exact, at 7 Pacific Time, 10 Eastern, and as a result of that little change, long story short, the pros scheduled to compete last time, they bailed, unfortunately, so that meant a little change in lineup. And this change was definitely for the better because we got ourselves the ultimate Ujokes battle. Well, I would think it's the ultimate battle anyhow. Host versus producer, Jonathan Mangum versus Josh Flaum. Oh yeah, quite the lineup. And by the way, folks, this is not producer Josh's first time playing on Ujokes. You may recall not that long ago, actually, in the show, there was an episode that was supposed to be Chris Spencer versus Amy Vorpal, but Chris Spencer was MIA, so Josh was the unofficial substitute. Now, I will say, for that Ujokes show's countdown, he did end up at the bottom. Will this end up being his chance to be promoted on the Ujokes countdown? We'll see what happens. But yeah, Battle of the Jays, Jonathan versus Josh. Except at the point in round one, where Josh picks a joke from Team Audience, Wayne Brady came in. Yeah, he was playing along on the Facebook chat. Jonathan invited him on. So for the rest of the show, it ended up being Jonathan versus Josh versus Wayne. Oh boy, yeah. Gotta be one of the best Ujokes shows we've gotten in quite a while. Why am I telling you all this, though? Especially since most of you listening probably did watch said Ujokes show already. Two reasons. One, because I loved the show. But two, it's because this week's podcast is going to go down slightly differently. We do still have the top 5 countdown, except it will be a little more evened out. Spoiler alert, we'll have one joke from Jonathan, one from Josh, one from Wayne, one from the winner of last show's best, which we'll get to in a minute, and then one more joke from Team Audience. And then normally after that would be the Ujokes Awards, except in this week's case, the titles at hand, they're all pretty neutral in terms of who gets what. And by neutral, I mean an all-way tie, if that gives you any indication. So we're going to skip the Ujokes Awards this time. We're just going to get straight to the top 5 countdown, and then that'll be it. Aside from a couple of important notes regarding Ujokes, and for those of you that like the show, other little bits of content you may be interested in, so keep listening for those little mini announcements. Oh, and before I forget, my apologies for not having a new Ujokes podcast last week. A couple of things came up, but hey, like I said, at least we have some time now to catch up on last week's show. So before I start babbling on about nonsensical things, let's get to the Ujokes top 5 countdown, the 5 best jokes, in my humble opinion, from last week's show. Spot number 5 on the old Ujokes countdown goes to last show's best. Who would have thought? Now, about last show's best, in case you don't know, this is basically a thing in which you can submit jokes for that previous Ujokes show. And of course, you have more time now because we didn't get a new show this week. So what you can do is go to that show on the Ujokes YouTube channel and still type your jokes in. Jonathan and Josh will look at all of the jokes. Whichever one, in their opinion, wins the metaphorical gold medal, whoever submitted that joke gets to compete live on the next show in the final round against the pros and team audience. And the winner at hand, the one that officially marked his second appearance on the show, Mr. Chifo Sanchez. Congratulations, Chifo, and good for you with this joke from last week's Happy Hour game. Remember that pic, guys? The astronaut drinking on the moon? Chifo Sanchez's joke, one small drink for mankind. Not bad, Chifo. Not bad at all. But now on to another joke from Team Audience at spot numero 4 on the countdown. Ben Pack from the YouTube chat for a game called What's Their Secret? And although we are indeed past Halloween, this pic still excites me. The picture of a man, he has a suit on, a tie and everything, but with one important difference. His head is a jack-o'-lantern. Or if not a jack-o'-lantern, then at least a pumpkin with a wonderfully carved face on it, which I liked. But anyway, Ben's joke, which ended up being the winning joke for the game of Secret, he moonlights as a bodyguard. Oh yeah, you gotta love a good joke like that. Puntastic, Ben Pack. Well done to you. Now on to the pros. Wayne Brady landing at spot number 3 on the countdown. What's this a commercial for? Yep, the old commercial game. And a very interesting pick, to say the least. This one involved a man who I assume has his birthday suit on, if you know what I mean, diving into the toilet, and just like one part of him is entirely rainbow colored. Well, not rainbow, like a couple shades of green, red, orange. You get the gist. Now you know the game, you know the pick. Now for Wayne's joke.
It's actually a picture from the commercial for the religiously themed Holy World theme park in Orlando, Florida, where instead of Shamu, they have Jimmy the Jesuit who jumps into the Soul Bowl, and it's a 12 o'clock advertising. Soul Bowl, nipple kisses, go to hell.
Man, that was good. That was good work. That was hard work, and you found jokes. I like it. And Wayne's not actually joking. There actually was a religious theme park thing they had at Disney.
The Holy
for a while.
Land.
What was it called?
The Holy Land.
The Holy Land. It's something to see. That's all I'm going to say. Something to see.
Yep, not much else to say about that joke. But well done to Wayne, because the Lord blessed him with a win, and so did the votes from Team Audience. Well done, Wayne Brady. Now on to the one and only Ujokes host, Jonathan Mangum. Spot number 2 on the countdown. A game called Supervillain is what we go to next, simply for a garbage pick. No, really, the pick is actually garbage, with a lady in the middle of said pile of garbage. And if you're thinking, how can you come up with a great supervillain name? Well, you can do what Jonathan did, and heads up to all the Marvel fans out there, you're gonna love this joke. I honestly think you will.
I think that this supervillain's name is Crap Ton Marvel, played by Debris Larson.
Whoa.
Yeah, such a clever joke from Jonathan. I wish that joke had won the supervillain game. Unfortunately for me, it did not. It's really a shame because Crap Ton Marvel, played by Debris Larson, such a great joke. It's really too bad it didn't get more votes from the audience. I'm just gonna say it. I truly wish that joke had won, but what can you do? And now the moment you wonderful Ujokes fans have been waiting for. Time to see who takes the top spot of the countdown, and you're not gonna believe it, but the joke that beat Debris Larson was from producer Josh. Oh yeah, he definitely upped his joking game from last time, but how can you compete with Jonathan Mangum? Well, you might be in luck if a pick is basically showing a squirrel holding a lightsaber, so possibly Nutty Jedi territory. But anyway, spot number 1 on the countdown, you probably guessed it. That pick from the inspirational poster game to come up with the best, funniest, inspirational saying you can. And about Josh's joke? Well, you definitely have to admit, since he was the last person to make a joke from this game, he really brought it home. I can truly say the force was strong with this joke.
Do or do not, there is no flying squirrel.
Wow.
Yeah! Best joke of all time!
Yeah, he really did bring it home with that one. Although I will say, had Josh gone about it differently, I probably would have given my vote to Jonathan for circumcision isn't nuts. That was a good one too. And I would also like to give an honorable shout out to Jonathan's mom, who posted her own joke for this game into the Facebook chat, tribute to a squirrel legend. Yeah, a lot of great jokes to come from that game of inspirational poster. Although, in reality, from one game to the next, everyone did a great job that night. Jonathan Mangum, producer Josh, Wayne Brady, Chifo Sanchez, and the rest of you on Team Audience. And we're going to leave it there. That's it for this week's Ujokes podcast, because remember, we're not doing the Ujokes Awards. All of the awards this week turned out to be a little more neutral. And again, by neutral, I mean an all-way tie for each one. Although I do have a couple of final announcements to make. You already know that if all goes to plan, the next Ujokes show will be on Monday, November 29. So get on that last show's best title, folks, and be sure to also subscribe to the Ujokes YouTube channel for more great laughs. You've got High Jokes Score on that channel, where jokes equal cash. The 6th, and if I'm not mistaken, final session of High Jokes Score continues. You can check out the newest video now on the YouTube channel, but another episode will be coming up this Friday. Time of release, though, to be determined. And although this other show on the channel, FMK Champs, hosted by College Humor's Carolyn Page, is on hiatus, stay tuned for a ho-ho holiday special on Wednesday, December the 8th at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 Eastern. Oh, and speaking of FMK and Ujokes too, you can also get merch for both of these shows via the link in the description. There is also a link to the Ujokes official website created by Ujokes fan Craig in the UK. And now that's it for today's episode of Ujokes Weekly. Again, such a great show. Jonathan, Josh, Wayne, and everyone else playing on the YouTube and Facebook chats and wherever else. Great jokes last week. Such a great show. And until the next Ujokes show comes a-calling, make sure to stay connected with me on Twitter and Instagram at Postmaster Radio. Plus like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review on Spreaker, Spotify, the Apple and Google podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and the list goes on. The account links can all be found in the description. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, well, bye for now. See ya!